Hey, well, looky here. It's Sunday morning, and I just finished watching Theo and Billy Strings. When it came out the other night, I was really excited. I'm a big Billy Strings fan, big Theo fan, and I thought has the potential to be really good. So I immediately started watching it, and it started out okay. You could tell. I mean, did not expect Theo to really be into the same music or even know a lot of the musicians that Billy knows or hangs out with or idolizes, admires, I guess. And then it did become a little slight problem because just like musician after musician that Billy is mentioning, Theo did not know them, and then even kind of mentioned like I don't know these guys. Maybe I need to kind of like expand what I'm listening to. And the only reason it was, which is fine, he's not required to know like Bill Monroe and all these old bluegrass guys, but it kind of didn't give Billy a lot of room to kind of go. And that's more what I would like to have heard Billy talk about. So then he kind of settled on, I guess, one thing I have in common with Theo is our years of partying on the road, drug use, and just crazy like drug war stories. And, Theo's not into any of that anymore. He's down for a good story every now and then. He's got some great ones himself, but I just felt like there was too much of that in the middle. Like it started okay, the first 20 to 30 minutes, and then it ended fine, final 20 or 30 minutes. But that hour in the middle, then it got a little weird. Like Billy was mentioning people by first and last name, like non celebrities. I don't know why it's such a big deal, but always like I just know going all the way back to like talk radio days and podcast days. If somebody's just like a normal civilian out there, they're not famous. You're just not supposed to mention them first and last name. The podcaster and the producers are like, we don't really know Joe Smith. We don't know if Joe Smith wants to be talked about. We don't know if Joe Smith's okay with Billy saying that he smoked crack. So maybe careful on the last names because you can just kind of see Theo squirming. Like I think Billy may have done it a few times, and they beeped him out on the with the edit, but. And then, so I think it took Theo a moment to kind of recover from that. And I mean, there was lots of profanity. It's really annoying, but a lot of these podcasters that have the YouTube streams, they do not want they try to they try to keep the language to a minimum, the profanity anyhow. Which is just sickening to see someone like Theo or just other professional comedians watch their language. Like, oh, what's going on here? Are we fourth graders? What? I don't understand. I don't know. I hate to see guys like that kind of be yanked around a little bit by advertising dollars on YouTube. But you see it. I mean, you see some people even like muting them if they accidentally get if they say a word in there. Ooh. I kind of watch it with the profanity, not because obviously I'm not being pulled around by advertisers. I wish I was. Huh? I wish I was like Bobby Lee or Bisping or Theo or somebody. Um, but at a certain point, he just was like, okay, this is too much. I can't just beep and mute all of the words that Billy's using here. So they were like I wanted to say like I watched an old video of mine one time and it was just like fuck here and this shit and just every other word seemed like there was just like profanity coming out of my mouth, and it's like I'm never trying to come off as an intellectual. Obviously that would be impossible for me to try and pull off, but I'm not that big of just a degenerate, where every other word out of my mouth is profanity. That just seemed a little icky. I didn't like that look for myself. So if you're ever like, what are you talking about, man? You're just as bad as those guys. I'll drop an F bomb every now and then. But, 14 of them in a 3-minute video. A little icky. So I get it. Maybe sometimes that's the case. But that was just also weird. I just felt like between giving people's full names and then I just feel like some gears were grinding in Theo's head when he should have been listening and trying to interview Billy. And then sometimes he would kind of abruptly shift, which Theo does a little bit. I don't know. I just thought that middle hour was not one of Theo's best hours of podcasting, really. And then I just felt like Billy could do a lot more than just tell drug stories. I mean, I know it is a big part of where he's from and people he's known. I mean, you hear a song, it's littered throughout his songs. So I get it. I understand. It's part of who he is, but at the same time, I just know he has so much more to offer as far as music and so his history on the road. But then Theo was a little bit like, I got nothing for you on that bluegrass guy from Texas, man. I got absolutely nothing for you, Billy. Billy was like, all right, well, I went to this crack house one time. You got something on that? Unfortunately, Theo could relate a little bit. Billy no longer drinking. I think he said no more drinking. Yeah, no more drinking. Said his doctor told him to. I learned a little bit about Billy. Said his doctor told him maybe he'd start doing edibles and vaping instead of smoking so much pot. And take it easy on the sugar. Just all white powders in general. Take it easy on. Get, maybe there was some confusion there. Maybe the doc had heard dust in a baggie. That video came up, of course, the infamous dust in a baggie video. Billy did not like it. They almost started to play it, and Billy was like, come on, please don't play that. I know that he's just like, I don't want to sit here in the room and then you play that video. Like, I'm sure he's not really proud of it. He should be proud of it, but you got to admit, he looked like a kid from Deliverance in that video, right? And then they did talk about the party boy in the background there, a guy I've always thought looked like Party Boy. So he got a big shout out. And as far as views go, I was looking, not as well. Theo, regularly goes over 1 million views, sometimes up to 3, 4, 5 million views, depending on the guest. This one's sitting around, God, I think it was like 345,000 or something like that. So obviously Theo fans not really into Billy Strings. They talked a little bit about how maybe like bluegrass has kind of making a little bit of a comeback, but I just think that's Billy. Billy is like way on the outside edge of bluegrass he plays a lot of traditional stuff as well, but a lot of times you're at a Billy Strings show and you're like, this is bluegrass? What? I was at Billy Strings back in March. They were playing Alice in Chains. What's going on here? All right. It was fantastic, by the way. All right. So I don't even think I recommend it. I sent the link to a couple of friends. I didn't know if they were into Theo. One of them was not really aware of Theo at all. The other was a Theo fan. And kind of regretted sending them the link, both Billy fans. Kind of like, I don't know. All right, guys. Boom. We are out of here. So I don't know. I guess check some of it out. Watch the first 25 minutes and the last 25 minutes, I guess. I don't know. I just know that, I don't know. I said it like 3 times, 4 times. I'll make it a 4th time. I just felt like Billy could have talked about a lot more than, his history of hanging out in crack houses and fentanyl. It's all stuff, it's happening. It happens when, I don't know. I don't know what I wanted. I wanted something more than that, though. I listen, believe me, I've listened to enough idiots tell me about their history of drug use, all right? I'm not impressed. Boom, we're out of here. You guys want to hear my resume? Well, let's see. At 16, I was taking acid in 5th period. No, that's true. I was. I hated English class.